So yun, a good day to everyone. So for this video lecture on dairy animals on 161, I'm going to talk about the feeds and feeding of dairy animals. So ano nga ba yung mga dapat nating ipakain? Ano nga ba yung types ng mga feedstuff na dapat nating ipakain doon sa mga dairy animals natin, kung ano nga ba yung mga pwede nating i-supplement in order to get yung full potential ng mga dairy animals natin in order to produce yung magandang milk production. So, first, feed resources. So, for this video lecture, I'm going to talk about, or I'm going to discuss about the feed resources na tinatawag. So, basically, yung feed resources, you could divide it into two main type. You have the roughages and the concentrates. So, on roughages, first is the pastures and forages na tinatawag. So, in pastures and forages, these are the most important and economical feeds of dairy animals. So, yun. Important siya kasi these forages and pastures, they can provide nutrients to the dairy animal. And then economical feeds, because unlike concentrates that it demands a high price, for pastures and forages, mas konti yung cost of production mo. Mas konti yung input na ibibigay mo compared doon sa when you go on concentrate na medyo mahal. So, yung parang disadvantage lang ng pasture and forages, yes, it is cheap, pero in establishing a pasture and forage area, it is laborious. So, kasi para magtatanim ka so kailangan na alagaan mo muna yung mga pastures and forages mo before you could actually utilize it. Pero, yun pa rin, it is the most important and economical feeds of dairy animals. So, yung mga good quality grasses and legumes natin, it can provide yung nutrients na kailangan para sa optimal growth ng dairy animals natin. Pwede rin, it could provide the optimal growth nila sa reproduction and then sa economic milk production na tinatawag. So, yun. So, dapat good quality yung grasses natin. So, dito pumupunta na ngayon so with that, dapat na yung pasture and forages natin are properly managed and utilized as feed for dairy cattle at the recommended growth stage to obtain maximum nutrients. So, kailangan na properly manage pa rin yung pastures and forages natin. So, yung proper management, katulad rin doon sa other crops like rice and corn, dapat na maganda yung pagmamanage natin. So, dapat na binibigyan natin sila ng sapat na tubig, binibigyan natin sila ng sapat na atensyon para mag-grow sila, para they could be of high quality grasses. So, ito kasi yung one of the most neglected part, or yun, one of the neglected part of a animal production, especially on dairy animal production, lalong-lalo na dun sa mga backyard raisers. Kasi, ang tendency kasi pag tinanim na, yung like for example, yung napier mo during rainy season, ang tendency is hindi na nila, hinahayaan na lang nila na yung ulan yung mag-provide ng water. So, for example, ganun. So, hindi na nila binibigyan ng pansin. So, hinahayaan na nilang yung ulan, yung mag-provide ng water hanggang sa tumubo at tumaki yung forage. So, hindi dapat ganun. Dapat we need to properly manage pa rin yung mga pastures and forages natin. And dapat, with that, we can we need to provide yung mga dairy animals yung pasture and forages natin at the right or recommended growth stages. So, kasi, yung forage natin, yung pasture and forages natin, may mga stages yan. So, if yung pasture or forages natin is too young, kung masyado pang bata, then may mga nutrients na mawawala or may mga nutrients na wala pa dun sa pasture and forage natin. Same with the pag hindi pa masyadong, ay pag matanda na masyado yung pasture and forages natin, one of the result will be masyadong mahirap i-digest na ngayon yung pasture and forages natin, and at the same time may mga nutrients na magiging unavailable na. So meaning if it's too young or if it is too old, hindi masyadong mayu-utilize ngayon ng dairy animals natin yung mga nutrients na nandun sana dun sa pasture and forages natin. So kailangan na i-provide natin yung mga pasture and forages natin within yung certain age. Dapat hindi too young, hindi too old. Otherwise, if yung pasture and forages natin ay hindi good quality, it will be necessary to supplement yung dairy animal natin with concentrate feed. So yun. So we should make sure na yung pino-provide nating mga grasses is of high quality. Then another uh, parang type of roughage is the silage na tinatawag. So the silage, it is an important roughage for dairy animals, especially when pastures and forages are insufficient and have low nutritional value. So, gumagamit tayo ng mga silage para parang ma-store kasi yung mga plant materials na pinapakain natin doon sa animal. So, yung sa silage kasi, parang china-chop, like for example, yung Napier, china-chop, and then ini-store on like the airtight containers, yung mga silo na tinatawag. So, with that, ginagamit natin yung silage if yung pasture natin or mga forages natin are insufficient. Particularly on times like summer, kung saan medyo scarce yung tubig, meaning hindi masyadong tumutubo yung mga grasses and pastures natin. So, insufficient yung amount na pwedeng makuha doon or maliit yung amount na pwedeng makuha doon. So, pwede ka na ngayong gumamit ng silage. And then, pwede rin na yung mga pasture and forages natin have low nutritional value. So, kung ganun kung low nutritional value, then pwedeng gumamit ng silage. So mga dairy animals like for example the cattle, it can be fed mainly on good quality silage only for optimal growth and milk production. So yun, ganun ka-importante yung silage kasi like for example sa cattle mo, pwedeng silage lang yung ipakain mo. As source, yun yung sa ravage mo, pwedeng silage lang. Basta maganda yung quality ng silage. Kasi if you fed it mainly on good quality silage, it can produce optimal growth. Pwedeng maganda yung pag-grow ng dairy animal, and then maganda rin yung milk production. Then some of the ensiling materials are corn, corn stover, sorghum, sugarcane tops, cassava leaves, napier, and other improved grasses. So ito yung mga pwedeng gamitin for silage making. So you have corn, corn stover, sorghum, sugarcane tops, and many others, mga cassava leaves. So ito yung parang main advantage rin ng paggamit ng silage, since it minimizes the waste, it minimizes the farm byproducts. So, imbes na yung mga farm byproducts natin like corn stover, sugarcane tops, mga cassava leaves, imbes na mga to is, itong mga farm byproducts na ito is tatapon na lang, pwede nating gawing silage for as a roughage for dairy animals. So yun. Another type of roughage na pwede nating ibigay doon sa dairy animal is yung grass legume hay na tinatawag. Grass legume hay and also other crops residues. These are important for calves or kid since these promote early development of the rumen and prevent occurrence of pot bellies due to heavy intake of high moisture pastures and roughages. So yun, itong mga grass legume hay natin daw, importante ito dun sa mga calves or kids. So dun sa mga bata na animal, na mga bata na mga dairy animals. Yung isang importance na is that it promotes early development of the rumen. So basically kasi yung sa anatomy and physiology, the calves and kids hindi pa masyadong develop yung rumen nila kung bata pa sila. So kasi mainly yung kinakain or ini-ingest lang ng mga calves and kids ay milk. Now, if you introduce itong mga grass legume hay na tinatawag, mai-introduce na ngayon or yung mga bacteria or mga protozoa, mga other microorganisms on the grass legume or hay, pwede na ngayon pumunta dun sa rumen and parang it will trigger the rumen to develop. So yun, yung pagkain ng mga kids, ng mga calves ng grass legume hay, it will trigger the rumen to develop and it will promote early development dun sa rumen. And this will introduce the rumen to the microorganisms, the protozoa, the bacteria. That is yun yung distinguishing characteristic ng mga rumen that are fully developed. May mga microorganism and bacteria doon, mga protozoa that will ferment yung kinakain ng animal. Kaya importante na you introduce doon sa mga kids and calves mo yung grass legume hay. And then, it prevents also the occurrence of pot bellies due to heavy intake of high moisture pastures and roughages. So, itong roughage kasi na ito, it is as the name implies, it is a grass legume hay. It is a hay. So, basically, hay have lesser moisture content. Meron pa rin siyang moisture content, but hay had lesser moisture content compared to the other high moisture pastures and roughages. Compared to the other pastures and roughages, mas kunti lang yung moisture contents ng hay. So with that, it can prevent the occurrence of pot belly, which is caused by the intake of high moisture. So yun yung sa importance niya sa calves and kids. So, paano naman dun sa mga mature dairy animals? So, yung mga hay and straw, they are used as maintenance. So, parang maintenance feeds lang for mature dairy animals. So, they are used as maintenance feed when feeding these roughages. It must be parang supplemented with more nutritious roughages or with high energy or high protein concentrate. So, basically, dapat na when you are feeding yung mga mature dairy animals natin ng mga hay or straw, dapat na mag-supplement ka pa rin ng mga roughages with more nutritious roughages or kung hindi man is with yung high energy and high protein na concentrate. So, yun dapat yung gawin mo. So, with that, speaking of concentrate, dumako naman tayo doon. So, in concentrate feedstuff first, it can be classified as energy concentrate, pwedeng ganun as energy protein concentrates, pwede rin na mineral and vitamin supplements and non-nutritive feed additives. So, yun yung mga types ng concentrate feedstuff. So, first, let's discuss yung energy concentrate na tinatawag. So, energy concentrates have high starch and or sugar, fats, and oil content. So, yun yung parang nutrients niya na nandun. It has high starch kasi nga energy concentrate, Meron ring mga sugar, fats, and oil. So, this feedstuff contain about or should contain between 60 to 18 total digestible nutrients. So, when we say total digestible nutrients, ito yung mga total of the fiber, yung protein, yung lipid, yung carbohydrates uh, that are components of the feedstuff that are digestible. So, yun yung total digestible nutrients. Is lahat ng nutrients doon sa feedstuff that are digestible to the animal. Yun yung total digestible nutrients. And yung energy concentrate, it should at least contain around 60 to 80. So, ganun karami. So, importante talaga na you should implement or supplement yung dairy animals mo with concentrates every now and then. Then, for the energy feedstuff, pwedeng yung mga yellow corn, corn bran, sorghum, cassava, mga animal fats and vegetable oils. Pwede rin yung rice bran, rice middlings, and others. So, um, with that, yung mga, as you can see, may mga yellow corn, corn bran, sorghum, cassava, mga vegetable oils, rice bran, rice middlings, all are plant-based except for animal plants. So, basically, lahat ng mga to kasi is high in energy. Kaya pwedeng as energy feedstuff sila. So, another one is the protein concentrate na tinatawag. So, in protein concentrate, this feedstuff contain between 12 to 60% crude protein. So, ganun karami yung pwedeng ibigay ng protein concentrate. So, itong protein concentrate na to, it is really important doon sa dairy animals, especially doon sa mga nagpo-produce. Kasi sa milk production, it requires a lot of nutrients, especially mga proteins, mga calcium, mga phosphorus. So, kailangan na you should supplement yung dairy animals natin ng mga protein concentrate. So, itong protein concentrate na to, these are specially needed by yung sabi ko nga, lactating cow for its milk production. Pwede rin sa growing calves kasi for its growth and development. And then, pwede rin sa mga breeding bulls kasi lalong-lalo na if ginagamit mo talaga yung breeding bull mo for its sperm production, mga ganun. So, that's on. So, we have here yung concentrate feedstuff na tinatawag. Particularly on itong mga to is yung sa protein concentrate. So, this includes yung mga soybean meal, soybean oil meal, copra meal, corn gluten feed and meal, rice bran, corn bran, leaf meals, fish meals, meat and bone meal, at saka yung skim milk and buttermilk. So, lahat ng ito, it could be utilized for yung sa paggawa ng concentrate feedstuff. So, another one is yung trace mineral na tinatawag. So, sa trace mineral, it is given in powder or crystal mix with concentrate or a trace mineral salt block which the animals lick at will. So, yung trace animal, you could give it to the ruminant in two forms. You have yung powder or crystal, and then you have yung black, mineral black na tinatawag. So, pag yung sa powder or crystal na trace mineral yung gagamitin, make sure that you mix it with yung concentrate. Kasi pag binigay mo as pure powder or crystal yung trace mineral, it could lead to toxicity. Kasi if pure na powder or crystal lang yung binigay mo, may tendency na yun lang yung kakainin ng animal. So, kailangan na i-mix mo with yung concentrate. And then, for mga trace mineral, you also have yung mga mineral salt block na tinatawag, yung mga UMMB, yung urea molasses mineral block. So, yung urea molasses mineral block, it is given to the animal and then bahala na yung animal sa pag-consume, pag-leak. Dinidilaan niya yung mineral block na yun. So, yung mineral block kasi na yun, it is palatable to the animal. May molasses doon sa mineral block kaya masarap sa panlasa ng mga dairy animals. So, kailangan nila yun. And then, dinadagdagan rin nila ng mga minerals, mga salt. ah, para dun sa pag-supplement mo ng mineral. So, yun yung ginagawa. Other minerals that they could that you could give to dairy animals, you have yung um, calcium and phosphorus. And yung calcium, pwedeng yung source mo is limestone or yung mga oysters shell. Yung phosphorus naman, pwede yung dicalcium phosphate na tinatawag, and yung mga rock phosphate na tinatawag. So, yun doon sa trace mineral. And then, for the vitamin supplement, usually yung sinusupply is yung fat-soluble vitamin, A, D, E, and K. Yun yung mga vitamins na sinusupplement doon sa animal. Ah, kasi yung mga water-soluble vitamins naman, they are synthesized in the body of the animal. So, hindi na nila kailangan yun. So, nasi-synthesize or na-produce na mismo sa body ng animal yung mga water-soluble vitamins. So, kailangan yung i-supplement mo is yung mga fat-soluble vitamins, A, D, E, and K. Tsaka ka lang kasi the only time wherein you will supplement water-soluble vitamin is when the animal is young, and when the rumen of the young animal are not yet functional. So, doon ka lang magsusupply ng water-soluble vitamins. Then, the diet of dairy animal must be supplemented with vitamin A, D, and E when fed with low-quality rations such as rice row, native braffages, or poor quality pasture. So, kailangan na pag alam mo na hindi ganun kataas yung quality ng binibigay mong braffages or forages, dapat mag-supplement ka ng vitamin A, D, and E. And then, ito rin, vitamin A, D, and E, it is used or it is needed by pregnant cows and breeding bulls. Kailangan nila to kasi pregnant nga sila. So may na-develop na embryo dun sa tiyan niya. So kailangan nila ng added vitamin. Same with mga breeding bulls, kailangan nila to. So another one is yung non-nutritive additives. So, these are sometimes needed by the dairy animal for specific physiological purposes. So, ano nga ba itong mga specific physiological purposes? So, first is this group additives, itong non-nutritive additives na tinatawag, it includes yung antibiotics, hormone, antioxidant, and enzyme. So, yung sinasabi kong specific physiological purposes, like for example sa antibiotics, saka ka lang magbibigay ng antibiotic if the animal is sick that is caused by the bacteria, and then if there is an infection. So, doon ka magbibigay ng antibiotic. And then for the hormone, tsaka ka lang magbibigay nito during yung mga breeding season. So, magbibigay ka ng mga estrogen, ng mga progesterone na hormone para mag-induce ng ovulation, parang ganun. And then for the antioxidant, it is given mainly on the feed to prevent yung rancidity or yung pagkasira ng feed. And yung enzyme naman, binibigay ito to aid on digestion mostly. Yung mga enzymes para makadigest ng maayos yung dairy animal natin. So, milk from animals treated with antibiotics, hormones, and other drugs and chemicals is discarded 4 to 7 days depending on the particular drugs used. So, kailangan na um, pag nag-inject ka, like for example ng antibiotic, maghintay ka muna ng 7 days bago mo ibenta or bago mo i-consume yung milk na na-produce. Kasi within that 4 to 7 days, within that 7 days, maaari na yung mga in-inject mo na antibiotic, mga drugs, mga hormones, nandun pa rin sa may traces pa rin na makukuha doon sa milk mismo. So, kailangan na i-discard mo ito. Then, after 7 days, doon ka lang magkukonsume or magbebenta ng milk for human consumption. Then, last na concentrate feedstock is yung non-protein nitrogen na tinatawag such as yung urea, which is an important source of non-protein nitrogen for dairy animals. So, urea kasi it is well utilized by ruminants kasi may rumen sila may mga bacteria sila which can ferment or can utilize this urea as an important source of non-protein nitrogen. So, the urea can be incorporated in the concentrate mix at the rate of 1 to 2%. So, this is applicable to mga large ruminants such as dairy cattle, dairy buffalo. Doon sa dairy goats, medyo babaan lang konti yung percentage. Baka na babaan mo ng nasa 0.5 to 1% lang ng urea yung ibibigay mo doon sa concentrate mix. And then, dapat yung urea, it must be thoroughly mixed in feed to prevent toxicity. Kasi pag hindi mo minix and then nilagay mo na lang sa isang part nung, let's say, yung sa feed, isang part lang nung kainan nila, may tendency na isang ruminant yung kakain lang doon sa urea na dapat sana ay kainin ng 10 na ruminants. So with that, maaring magkaroon ng toxicity, maaring ikamatay ng kumain na ruminants. So kailangan na it must be thoroughly mixed in feed. So with that, that ends my presentation on the feeds and feeding, the first part of the feeds and feeding of dairy animals, particularly on the different feed resources that you can give to the animal in order to improve its production and in order to maintain its production. So with that, please go over all of this. Please go over the lecture video and thank you for listening.